Live from the Partners Neighborhood Bar and Grill in beautiful downtown Huntsville, Alabama.
What time is it?
What time is it?
What time is it?
What time is it? What time is it?
It's tea time with Tierra, darling, where we are spilling the tea. Yeah, so we've talked a lot about me.
And you are a fascinating subject.
Well, I have a feeling that you're just as fascinating.
Oh, you think?
I don't really, I'm very intuitive.
Okay.
And I feel that I could learn a lot from you, more than I already have, which everybody I've learned a lot. He's taught me things I didn't really think about. Things that, when I did think about it, just changed the whole thing.
Wow. That means a lot to me.
Yeah, and it means a lot to me knowing that I've got a friend like you. And we can actually sit here and have this conversation.
Right.
And then everybody else will learn too.
Right.
That's what. So I want to know, you're probably from the same era that I'm from.
I'm a little older than you.
Well, not much. Just 29. Well, so it's Pearl's girl. So I want to know about you.
Okay.
I want to know your journey. I want to know as far back as you are willing to talk about.
Okay.
As far back as you want me to know.
Okay. Well, let's see. First, I'm going to say that a lot of what I'm going to say sounds very woo-woo because I am on a very, I guess somebody would say a hardcore spiritual journey. In fact, it's kind of interesting to me. I was told by some family members that some other family members think I'm in a cult, and I said, well, if just concentrating on being joyful, happy, and blissful in every moment is a cult, sign me up, baby, because that's where I'm at. So
I've been in the other cult.
Yeah. Try the other ones. That didn't work, did it?
Can I ask you a question real quick? When you say woohoo, what does that mean?
I guess, some people, I guess they think it's really out there. When I start talking about the different type of spiritual things that I believe, but I guess the way I put it, I don't want people to just kind of close down from it because what I really believe and what I really know is so intuitive for everybody. Because people in their everyday life, they'll walk into a room and they'll feel the energy. That happens to everybody. Or you'll kind of know something's going to happen before it happens. Well, guess what? That's woo-hoo too, and that's exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just thinking maybe woohoo meant something you're just putting in a way people don't usually typically get.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's what I thought woohoo meant.
Okay.
But I do understand. Everybody that I know that talks about woohoo. My friend Steve talked about woohoo in a different hoo-hoo moment. He had a hoo-hoo.
Oh, okay.
And you have a woohoo.
Oh, it's called woo-hoo, yeah.
That's a woohoo time, isn't it? So I'm just curious, so I just had to ask that.
Sure. Okay. So, let's see. Whew. There's really no, I don't mind going as far back as I need to go, but there's really no point in going back past the point of, I would say, probably 2010, because it's just all, anything you focus on expands, whether it's good or bad. There's no bottom to anything. I mean, if you've ever noticed that, like, if you get together with a group of friends and start talking about somebody you don't like, you never finish that conversation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But if you start talking to friends about something you really like, you never really finish that conversation either. So I guess what I'm saying is I don't want to put the energy behind what it's been. But I will say that I was a codependent caretaker, and I was a creature of fear, anxiety, and depression. I mean, the one thing I remember, there's one dark moment, the one thing that stopped me from physically going in the garage and turning on the car and sitting in the car was I did not want my daughter to discover it. That was the one thing that stopped me. And I've always known that there was going to be one more fun moment ahead of me that I would enjoy. So that's what kept me alive all those years through that. And I use that fear as kind of a coping mechanism, because I thought if I focused on what I feared the most, I would be able to handle it when it came up, not knowing that what I was actually doing was increasing that fearful moment and actually bringing that to me, because when you really start learning about energy, like attracts like. So as you start, it's just like when a joyful person enters a room, does everybody get depressed or does everybody get happy? I mean, it's just the same type of energy. So I went through a real dark night of the soul, and I actually met somebody, and I told him, I said, I have met every fear I had except for one. And he said, Pete, do you know why? And I said, no. And he said, because you've been focusing on it all this time. And that was, I'm being serious right now, that was the light that came through, because I realized it was almost a script that I had met every fear I had ever focused upon. I mean, it was literally, really, you do script it. It really is.
Yeah.
Like Shakespeare says, the world is a stage, and you are the actor on that stage, and then you get to, and you may, if you don't fix something within yourself, you may move or leave a situation, but you take you with you, and guess what? A whole new cast of characters that are exactly the same as the last ones end up showing up. That's why you meet people that are always in bad relationships, or it's the same things you've had because they don't ever change their own mindsets in themselves. So I went on this real journey of just my own mindset and everything. And at that point, I just had like really nothing left. And so I started hearing about the law of attraction. So I started, a bunch of people were like, oh God. So I started studying about that. And then it was really interesting because I set some intentions for myself. And then I think it was December of 2012. Energy never stays still. Energy is always moving. So if you don't have an intention set forth, you start falling back. So what happened was I had set these intentions. December 2012, I met all those intentions, but I had no new ones for us. So I started actually kind of, things started falling apart for me again. So I had to kind of like really, I had another kind of dark night of the soul. I had to really start, investigating again. And I got a life coach. I think it's very important for everyone to have some type of a coach. I actually have three. I have a business coach, I have a spiritual coach, and I have a fitness coach.
Can they all be the same person?
They can all be the same person. Yeah, mine are not, but they can absolutely be the same person. That could be somebody that you pay or not. Because what the great thing about a coach is, they're standing up here on this cliff looking down at you, and you're sitting down here and you've built this glass box around yourself that this is all I'm able to do. But they're able to look just kind of like I can see for you, and I'm sure you can see for me. I see no boundaries for you, but there are boundaries that you see for yourself. So as a coach, as a friend, I can call you forward and I can say, I see so much for you, Tierra. And I've been saying that to you for a long time. So that's really what a coach does for you. Like a lot of times when I'm in this real fitness kick right now, and my trainer will tell me to do something. Josh Benson, love my trainer, and he'll see it. Huh?
I say, is he cute?
Yeah, he's straight, but I will. All is well.
Okay.
All is well. But he'll tell me to do something, and sometimes I'll turn to him and I'll say, Josh, do you know I can do this? And he'll say, yes. And I said, I'm on Josh faith. I'm not on Pete faith. So that's the great thing about a coach or a trainer, is that you can work on their faith, because sometimes like he tells me, your mind gives up well before your body ever will.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
So, I started studying. I came across on YouTube Abraham Hicks, and should we get a little bit into that? Should I get real woo-hoo about it?
Whatever you feel.
Why not? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Esther Hicks is a lady that began channeling a group of entities called Abraham. And y'all don't judge, just go look Abraham Hicks up on YouTube. I'm going to tell you that Abraham Hicks, there's nothing in particular they want you to do or buy or do. They just spread love and joy and peace. And if you don't get that from that, I just don't even, love.
Yeah, I've actually watched her, and I still watch her, because, can I say something?
Of course.
What happens to a lot of people is that boundary, it constricts us, from seeing a clearer picture.
Right.
And when she talks about gay marriage, it really is just a piece of paper that you're allowing to signify y'all's relationship. When in all reality, you already have that.
Right.
See what I'm saying? It's so simple, but yet it's so complicated because we don't allow it. We don't go there. But yeah, she's wonderful.
Yes. So I can say for me now, I'm in just in such an incredible place. I have so many projects that are coming forward. T-TimeWithTierra, I'm a partner in an internet radio station. I'm a program manager for that. I'm also an encourager. I'm actually an angel encourager. I do angel readings. Let's see. Oh gosh, I'm forgetting things. I have an eBay store, and I also I have another business that. Right now is my main channel of income, and I can't wait to gift it to somebody, but it's really interesting as my energy increases, all of my businesses are expanding all at the same time. So,
what is your main job?
Right now, I'm a field inspector for mortgage companies, and I have really used what I have learned spiritually in that, because basically I'm checking on homes in foreclosure. 95% of them are occupied, and guess who's not the favorite person to show up?
Right. Now, about that, when you do that, is it something you sneak and do? I'm not
Well,
necessarily.
some of the people are in bankruptcy. You're not supposed to contact them.
Okay.
So that's the one that you really don't want to be seeing. But in the past, before I'd really come through my spiritual journey, I mean, I'd been followed, I'd been accosted, I'd been, one year I pulled 11 ticks off of me, I had dogs attack me, and all kinds of stuff. So what I do now, as soon as I get in the car, I call my day forward. And the first thing I do is I say, everyone I meet today is fun, friendly, and helpful. And you know what? Everyone I meet is fun, friendly, and helpful. And I mean, I've had no bad experiences since then, and I've had experiences where I've actually prayed with the homeowners, and I've actually cried with them, and that was never, ever even close to my experience before. And I will have these people that I'm there to check on their foreclosure home thank me and tell me to have a good day, and they're meeting, and it's just. So I'm saying you can take these principles of how you call forth your day and what you expect and what you believe, and the faith is seeing or believing without seeing. That means there's no evidence of it around, but you know it. You know it, and that's what faith is. 'Cause a lot of people think faith is, okay, I saw this over here, and I think I can kind of do it. No, that's not faith.
That's you.
Yeah, faith is Moses and all of his followers. They're at the Red Sea, and Pharaoh's behind him, but he knows there's going to be a way. And then guess what? A way appeared. I mean, that's what faith is.
It's that way.
Right.
When you believe.
Right. And the other thing I've always, the angels always tell me is that if you ever heard of just-in-time manufacturing, it's a Japanese method where you don't get the part until you need it.
Yeah, you explained that to me.
Yeah,
yes.
And that's the way the angels play, because they don't really understand our being so anxious about having what we need 10 minutes before we need it.
What are we going to do with it?
Yeah, what are we going to do with it? We don't need it for 10 minutes. We're like,
yeah.
Well, that's on the order for 10 minutes from now, and then boom, and that has happened. That's happened with all the equipment that we have today. I mean, people might be like, yeah, they're kind of jinky, but this is all self-funded. And, I've got a daughter in college, and I've got things going on, and every time we needed a piece of equipment, somehow the money would come to me to be able to, and the inspiration, and the right product at the right price, would just be like, there might be something to this. And it's so funny now, because now I'll be talking to people and they'll be like, well, it's funny that you mentioned that. And I just kind of smile, because it's not, no, really, it's just not the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, it's kind of wild in some ways, because I say it all the time too, to people, but it's just second nature. It's like, it's so crazy.
Yeah.
Because I think that, do you feel that you already knew that about that person? Or you don't, not necessarily about that person, but you had this feeling come over you?
I don't think anything is a coincidence.
I don't either.
I think that everything is a collaboration of energy. We are all energy beings. I mean, even if you just follow quantum physics, that's what I'm trying to show some different aspects of people. I'm thinking, oh, this boy's just crazy. Maybe I am, whatever, but I'm happy and joyful, so love. But, if you follow quantum physics, you find out, like, this table is not solid. In fact, if you took all the solid material that we as human beings are made up of, it would be the size of a pea. And yet my hand doesn't go through the table. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, and why? How?
It's energy. It's our intention. It's our energy. And so, even like, say, when you go from like a small city to a big city, you feel like a whole different energy and a whole different vibe. It's still on the earth, so why is it different? It's different because of the energy and the intention and the expectations and the beliefs and the faiths that people have that are surrounding that area. So yeah, I believe everything that happens is there for a reason, and it's there to teach us something, and there is no good or bad, it's how we value it. So there's a difference between, I want to make sure we understand, there's a difference between judgment and choice. You know, heaven wants us to choose, but they don't want us to judge.
Right.
In other words, I may not like sushi, but I don't judge sushi. You know what I mean? I'd rather have chicken, but that's my personal choice.
Right. Okay.
You know?
So that kind of, when you explain that just a, can you go into about that just a little bit more? Because I understand choosing and I understand about the judging, but I'm not sure that the millions of people that's going to see this will understand that you can actually be in a judgmental frame if you're judging me because I'm eating sushi or judging the sushi.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So can you explain to them and me, I guess?
Well, I guess what I'm thinking of is that since we are energy beings, our bodies are created to be able to monitor for us how we're feeling. In other words, everybody knows, like when you're in a situation where you're happy, how your body feels. When you're in a situation where you feel like you've done something wrong, how your body feels. And that's one interesting thing as you're going through your spiritual walk to really understand what's the difference between, say, like your ego being mad because you're doing something and spirit being like, ooh, that might not work out the best for you. It's a totally different feeling within you. So when you're judging someone, that is not how your higher self or heaven sees.
Ego.
That's ego. Yes, that's not. Well, even kind of like with you were talking earlier about somebody that had a problem with you being different, with the same word as Terry. And it's really interesting. It's because we build our egoic structure not only around ourselves but other people. So you challenged your egoic structure because you changed. Does that make sense? That's like why when somebody leaves us, even if they weren't that great, it still tears us up because part of our egoic structure is built around that person being there.
Yes.
Does that make sense? So when you start pulling back from that and you start becoming a self-contained being that's out of love, that still loves to interact and play with other people, see what a much more feeling of power and control and, maybe not control is the right word, but just, you know, instead of you being needy, like a relationship should be between two people that can stand on their own but enjoy being together, rather than being these two. And there's going to be times when you're going to need each other.
Right.
But for the most part, you want to be, instead of like being these two that are latched on each other because they just, you know, that's just not healthy.
Before they're latched due to it could be money. One doesn't have it, the other does. So I can't leave here because he's paying away. He's got to go with me.
Right.
That type of thing. Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah, or just needs can be of anything. Needs can be just to have somebody else to validate you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that can be about anything. But anyway, I guess what I was really trying to say is just the greatest thing about being in that spiritual journey is just learning your own body and learning how, like that pit in your stomach. It usually has to do around your abdomen, about the different feelings, because sometimes it's ego, kind of being challenged, and sometimes it's how your higher being is kind of giving you that signal of, that's not how I see it. So when higher self, because higher self loves everything, because there is no judgment. It loves absolutely everything, and to someone out there, almost everything out there is something they love. Like, I may not like this one thing, but somebody else does. It's almost like a kitchen with a bunch of different ingredients, but there's some ingredients I don't really care for, but somebody else cares for. So there's, like I say, don't judge those different, items there, but just, choose what it is you want. And as you start to choose and expect and have faith, because I think a lot of people are saying that they want to judge because they want to try to keep these certain things and people away from them. But as you focus on those people and those things, that's what starts to appear more and more in your life. Those things. So as soon as you let go of that judgment and you see everything with love and you focus on what it is that you choose to have in your life, that's what comes forward for you.
You just brought up just something tapped me in my head. I remember a long time ago, I was since I've been on a spiritual journey, but I was told, just surrender. What I thought surrender meant was giving in. But actually surrender is letting go.
Exactly.
And when I let go, I just got chills that caught up.
Yeah.
I just really felt I had moved in the right direction.
Right. Because what surrendering means to me, we think that we are the ones that have to make it happen. That's not the way it's supposed to be. We are actually kind of above the angels because we are on the edge of creation. What we do in this moment right now has never happened before.
Right.
So we are creating a whole new expansion of reality. And that's what we're here for. We are here to create the new reality and the new expansion for the universe through what it is we desire and what we focus upon. It's the angels in heaven that worry about how that's actually going to happen. That's none of your business because just think about the millions of things that you've actually brought into your life, and you had planned to do it by A, B, and C. How many of those actually happened
Right.
A, B, and C? It happened some other way.
And human would say, the human of us would say, well, it didn't happen A, B, or C, but if D hadn't showed up, I would have done it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I had this all taken care of, but D could have been the higher being.
Right.
But
Right.
you don't realize that.
Right.
That's how I resonate with it.
Yeah, I just want to make sure, because we do get to that egoic structure thing, it's all me, it's all on me, I've got to do this, I've got to drive here, and I've got to do that, I've got to punch this piece of paper, and I've got to email this person, I've got to,
way back.
you know what I'm talking about, it's all up to me, me, you know, but that doesn't even make sense because, you know, think of the limits of your own human brain, your own human experience of what it is that you can see and hear right where you are, and then think of the expansion of the universe. And how many other opportunities are out there that you don't even know of because you can't get the sense of it with your human senses. I mean, it doesn't even make sense to try to do it yourself.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And me and Brett had an interesting conversation about, you know, when you're already in this, the moment of believing that it is possible, you're already winning. Losing is really not an option.
Right.
And when he said that, I was like, you know, you're right. And we always say, well, I don't like losing. I've said it, even playing ball when I was younger. I don't like losing. Well, nobody really lost.
Right. Yeah.
You know, nobody lost that game.
Yeah.
Somebody went home with more points, but we won too.
But that was just the structure that we assembled through our society of scoring or judging each other. And there's nothing wrong with having contests and games and that type of thing. I'm not saying that. But just some people take it so to heart about this is now part of my egoic structure because, you know, it's kind of like with the Cotton Row run this year. I did not meet my goal. But guess what? I was so darn proud.
How you know that?
6.2. Okay. I was so darn proud that a 50-year-old man crossed that path and was looking good when he did.
Amen. Now, speaking of that, I know you have been on a physical makeover. So I'm wondering, could you tell me one time that you used to be hard?
I was 320 pounds at one time.
See, I just can't even picture that.
Right. And I'd always been able to lose weight, but the thing that was I would always gain it and more back. I mean, I could always lose weight. I mean, I've been on every single diet, and every single diet has worked for me. But I always put it back on. So weight really for most people is like a defense mechanism or a way that they kind of, you know, shield themselves. I know for me, it was for some abuse, and I tried to not be so attractive. I think is what it was. It made me less attractive, and it also meant that there were things that I wasn't expected to be able to do. So it was very much a defense mechanism for me, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I feel as if I've been an overeater. But it's not really the fact that I'm an overeater. It's just I'm overworking to deal with things at times in my life, and so that's why I thought it's got to heal here and here before it can heal here.
Right. See, because I had gastric bypass in 2005, but the thing, and that was a great surgery. But the thing for me was nothing happened up here, so I'm still a foodaholic, and I had real issues, and so I just switched addictions. You know what I mean? I just switched to other things, and that's when I kind of like imploded my life. I mean, I absolutely did. I had the government career that you couldn't lose. I had the 5-bedroom home. I had, you know, Mercedes in the driveway. I mean, I had it all. I lost it. Everything. Lost absolutely everything. And had to start over again. But you kind of learned in that journey, it brought me to where I needed to be to rebuild myself. And there's, I guess, two main reasons why I'm really on this real physical journey. I mean, I'm just being told by Spirit too, because they're telling me that I need to get prepared because they're about to pump a whole lot of energy through me. And I don't know what that means, and I don't know. So I can't not work out. But I also, one of my goals is to be the first over 50 fitness model. So maybe you'll see me. I don't know. But I just want to prove to people, because you meet so many people. I meet so many people, you know, that expect to decline in older age. And they just, you know, like there's somebody that I don't really speak to a whole lot, because every time I speak to them, I like maybe if I move and I kind of grunt or something, oh, you're getting arthritis? No, I don't get arthritis. You know, it's just like, it's all about the health thing. It's almost like there's this expectancy,
right?
You know, to reach this certain age. And that's
you have to have arthritis in your joint.
Yeah, or things have to be
osteoporosis.
And I just want to tell you that, you know, you can be or do anything you want to do. And I did my first pull-up 3 months ago. I've never in my entire life done a pull-up. And my coach, Josh Vincent, love you, Bowie, he said, go do a pull-up. And I was like, I just kind of looked at him and he was like, go do it. And I went over there and I did it. And I'm standing here in the middle of this butch gym crying. Because here I am 50, I've never done a pull-up before. And now I am just, we just got these new things. I don't know if anybody knows what a box jump is, but it's basically this box that you just straight jump on. Well, they just bought a 36-inch box jump. And every time I see it, I have to go jump it.
Can you do it?
Oh, yeah.
I should not even say can you. I said, how many times can you do it?
Actually, today I did 3 sets of 10.
Wow.
So, well, no, I did 1 set of 10 with them, and I had to go for the next two sets of 10, I had to do the next one down. But I did a set of 10 out of them. And that's, I mean,
that's great.
I'm 50.
Yeah.
And I've never done that before. I've never been in a sport. You know, I was the kid. It was me, the kid in the wheelchair, and the kid with asthma. They were sitting on the side of me every time.
Yeah.
You know, it was us three.
I can relate to that.
And sometimes it was just me, because they needed the guy in the wheelchair. You know, I'm just playing real.
Right. I was always the last one to be chosen for a game.
Right. I mean, I was. That was me. So I'm not trying to. People are saying, "Oh, yeah, you're probably this in high school." No. I was the fat kid who. In other words, a period in my time in high school, luckily with a growth spurt, I was actually kind of thin, thank gosh. You know, you get judged a lot in high school, but I still wasn't athletic. So I just want to say it's possible for anyone at any age, at any stage. You can improve yourself. I'm not saying you can be an Olympic wrestler or runner or swimmer or like that, but I'm just saying that you can always improve yourself if you will believe it. So
yeah, and that's important.
So,
When we were talking about earlier, faith is things you can't really see.
right.
And I mean, I've learned, and I've been told, and I've read in the Bible, it says you focus on the things that you cannot see. For those are the things that's going to keep and stay and have, it's in those words, but they're what's going to be the rewards later.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Focus on the things
See, that's
see.
what heaven wants us to. That's what our role is here. We are really, like even Jesus said that we're going to do greater things than He did. I mean, when you read through that, you know, when you read through that, you realize how heaven sees us. Heaven sees us as these powerful, creative beings. And heaven doesn't, to heaven there's no judgment, right or wrong. So when we focus on something, heaven's like, well, I guess they want more of it. So here you go. You know, it doesn't matter if we wanted it or not. If we're focusing on it, that's the first key to kind of start turning yourself around, is to start really allowing yourself to focus on those things that you want, because it's a real self-worth issue. You know what I'm saying?
It basically all boils down to that.
Yeah, and a lot of times what you have to do, for instance, I want a place on the beach. I don't care if it's a tent, if it's a camper, if it's a condo, if it's a house, if it's a mansion. It does not matter to me. Something that's on the beach. Because when I envision it, all I see is my view of the ocean. Which is really interesting. I never see the house. So I have no idea what's behind me.
You like to see the beautiful blue ocean.
Yeah, that's all I see. Well, I actually see it. It's a fence line on the right, tree line on the left, direct view of the ocean. But anyway, so what I want to say is, if that's what you want, that just for example, but you cannot, it makes you feel bad to think about that, then start with something more general, like start imagining to feel the sand in your toes, or the sound of the birds calling, or the seabirds calling, or the smell of coconut oil, or the clink of ice and something that gets you into that rhythm, or some calypso music, or the sound of the ocean, something that you don't have that yeah but moment. And that's what it is. It's this yeah but moment. Yeah, that'd be great, but
yeah,
you know.
yeah,
so
but.
if whatever you want or desire brings that yeah but up to you, just get more general. What like if you want a new car but you can't imagine it, start thinking about just like maybe the smell of new leather, or whatever it is about that car that you can just kind of generally think about. You know what I mean? That got kind of gets you more into that rhythm, or whatever it is. If it's perfect health and everything feels bad but your big toe feels good, concentrate on your big toe. Just because that whatever you focus on, whatever you feed into,
it goes. It
absolutely
grows.
And one thing I do want to say about health is, I do what's called a light body scan. I did one on you today, as a matter of fact. And disease, it's hard for me to say disease anymore because it's dis-ease. That's where it comes from. So it's all about energy flow and blockage of energy, because our bodies are energy machines and we are built to be in perfect health. So when we're not in perfect health, it's because we're blocking some energy in some part of us in some way. And you can actually almost kind of tell or feel. It's like when you're clenching your shoulders, or if you notice that your brow is always furrowed, or if your hips are always tense or something like that. I mean, you can actually, once you get in tune with your body, you can actually see where you're holding that energy at. I mean, start just asking the question of, why am I holding that energy? A lot of times it's a past belief or a past thought that you're just like clutching onto.
And not don't even realize it.
Yeah, and I find a lot of time I'm just going to speak for women, because most of my clients that are women, there's a lot of issues that happen in the pelvic region, because there's a lot of, I'm just going to say, there's a lot of sexual things for women, as far as like, I don't know if they were abused, or if there's certain things that are expected of them that they weren't ready for, or I don't know, or hormonal things. I know, yeah, I know for women, there's a lot of things that happen, and that's where they'll tend to like get lots of pains, and they'll have lots of cancers, and they'll have lots of lots of things happen in that region. You know what I mean? And I think that's where I believe it's from. So
interesting.
You know.
So for people, like, I'm going to be watching this again, and I may have a question, so I want to get it covered now. I want to know, for a person that never has had faith, doesn't really get us as far as, you're right, people say that. It's hard to explain how to get it. How do they get it? It's hard to explain how I got it. But I know I had to go the wrong way to get to the right way. Does that mean,
Yeah.
So, but that doesn't necessarily mean that everybody goes that same route. So, can you explain that?
Well, what I would ask for everybody is to, the natural order for us is bliss. And the reason feeling good feels good is because that's our natural order. I mean, nobody can tell me that feeling good doesn't feel good.
Right.
Tell me feeling good doesn't feel good. And tell me you don't feel good when you feel good. So what I'm saying to you is, do everything you can in every moment of your life to feel good. And if that means being selfish, then gosh darn it, be selfish. Because if you don't take care of yourself, what does RuPaul say? You can't take care of nobody else. And that is the exact truth. Fill your own cup and then give people from that overflow. Because when people are expecting you to give to them, what are they going to expect tomorrow? You to give, and do they ever thank you? Or do they ever give back to you? So you know what those people need to do? They need to stand on your own. So I'm asking every single one of you to be the most selfish, most self-centered person out there, and find love and bliss and happiness within yourself. And you know what's going to happen? You're going to start pouring out more love and bliss and happiness to other people so exponentially that you're going to be so much better of a help to others by being the most selfish that you possibly can be. And that, I mean, it sounds like such a paradox, but it's absolutely true. Because life is this moment, period. All you have is now. If you're saying that's the only thing you have, because if you say, I'm going to do this next year, if you actually did it next year, it would still be next year now. So at some point, you have to incorporate, you have to actually live in your now, and you have to actually be who you are in your now. I'm not telling anybody they have to do anything. Just be in your own bliss, be in your own happiness, and start gift to yourself. Start meditating 10 minutes a day, and all that means is just quieting your mind. It can be listening to the drip of a water faucet, or listening to your air conditioner running, or something like that, or listening to some nice music. It can be petting your cat. It can be whatever it is that just kind of gets that mind chatter. Shut the heck up. You know what I
My
mean?
sister waters the yard.
Yeah.
Not with a sprinkler, but with a hose and a spray on it.
Right.
Because it clears her mind.
There you go.
I never really thought about that as far as me.
Yeah, that's
but,
her meditation.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just amazing. You know, when you actually get it, you're going to think, wow.
Yeah. And if you have any more questions, we are going to cover this topic again and get on our newsletter at T-TimeWithTierra.com, because that is absolutely what being fun, fresh, and fabulous is all about.
And that's its entirety.
That's it.
It's no expansion of it. It's
So,
just that.
if y'all are like, well, how do I get into this groove, or I don't really believe it, or I want to know more, stay tuned, get on our newsletter.
Please do. Sign up now.
Right, now.
Click and
In your
learn.
now.
Click and
All
learn.
you have is your now.
Click and learn.
Before we beat you with a little sticker.
Well, I mean, I just think that you're an awesome person.
Oh, you know I love you.
I love you too, and I think that we are going to be just even greater.
There's no limit.
Because, I mean, I was going to say, this wasn't to say, I was going to tell you, but I was going to tell everybody too. It's kind of like in the midst of a storm, you still have to claim victory.
Right.
That's what's hard
Well,
for me.
it's through our greatest tragedies that our greatest changes happen.
I've always been told, and I believe it, that when you are so enthralled in that storm and it's spinning so fast, you better understand that there is something great on its way.
Exactly.
If you'll just claim it.
Right.
Claim
Exactly.
it. And that's yeah.
Because it's that great mixing bowl of life that brings new things to us. So be thankful for those. That's when you should get excited.
Yeah.
When stuff is really hitting the fan.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
means it's about to come forward. If you will believe, if you will have the faith.
That's all it takes.
Right.
It's amazing. Well, I really appreciate this conversation.
Yeah, I've had a blast.
Yeah,
I hope someone else has too.
Well, I know we got a lot more to talk about, but we'll have to have a part 2.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
Because there's still, I can sit here to midnight.
Yeah.
You know.
And it's probably an hour show anyway.
Yeah. So I mean, there's still, because I wanted to talk about your gyms and and stuff like that. Because we can talk about that.
Sure. Yeah. Let's talk about that. So, what the angels have told me is that gems and crystals are like the hard drive of the world, or the earth, and they store energy within them. So, and it's really interesting because the angels have also they've kept me from like taking any kind of these courses and stuff like that, and it's almost like they want to kind of keep me really innocent about it. And then what will happen is I'll say like, well, this gem means this to me, and then I'll go talk to somebody that's actually had the training, and that's exactly what it is. I'm like, oh, well, who knew? So, a lot of my clients, I do angel encouragement and I do angel readings, and it's really usually I am told to give them a particular type of gem, and it's really great when the person has that gem with them, because when I send them the love that the angels have for them through me, that person may not be able to receive that love at that point, but I can direct it to their gem, which will always receive it. And then when that person is ready, then they can take it from the gem. And gems or crystals, they will absorb your negative energy and they will give you out the positive energy. But they have to be recharged every now and then. Usually the way I recharge mine is like putting them out into the sun, or just really directing the angel love and light to them. And say, I've got my beautiful emerald with me right now. His name is Alfred. Got him.
And look at this beauty.
Oh my gosh! Oh, this just has so much energy. See, he got a little box. See,
You know you're something when you have your own box.
Yeah, you got your own box. Even Tierra has her own box too.
Yeah,
Her box over
See
there.
it later.
Yeah. Well, watch a earlier episode. You know what I'm talking about. So this is my ruby. I have not named her yet. It's a her. I don't know what her name is.
Did you spill that with the herb?
Yeah.
I think she's a herb.
Yeah, and she's got some little.
That's her family.
Yeah, she's got a little family. Oh, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, there we go. She's got a little family with her, And so they like to charge each other. That's why I like to keep them together, because the bigger ones charge the smaller ones. And it's just interesting. I'm just every now and then I'm just encouraged to give someone a gem. And I'll talk about one particular experience that I had. I went to a conference in Atlanta. It was for business, but it was just filled with intuitive people. It was just amazing. And I was actually told by the angels I was asked to prepare 10 little bottles of gems. And so I'd done it, and I'd given out 9 of them. And then near the end of the conference, this is what was really interesting to me. I kept picturing this one guy in my mind all day long, and I was like, okay, is this spirit or is this my body? Because he was cute. And so I told Spirit, I said, okay, if this is you, he's going to walk past me as soon as the conference was over. No longer had she said good night. He walked right past me. I was like, okay. So I went up to him, I was like, this is going to be really weird. But Spirit wants me to talk to you. Is there anything that you'd like to talk to me about? And so we sat down and we talked about all kinds of different things that were going on in his life and all that kind of stuff. Had a really great conversation, felt really connected. And then it was time for him to go, and he got up, and all of a sudden he was like, please go down. And I said, sit down. And I gave him that last bottle of gems I had, and he just broke down and cried. He kissed the bottle. I don't know what it meant to him. I'm getting chills right now. I don't know what it meant to him or what it gave to him. All I know, all I know is that it gave something to him. And I just got one of the ladies that I've given one of the 9 to. She's going through something with her family, and she's getting a lot of energy and a lot of power through those gems. And I gave her a reading, and I was able to send it, because I knew she wasn't ready to receive love, like I was saying. She was just in that space, but I could direct her to the gems, and then she could just take it as she needed it. She's since reported me all the things that have happened for her, and I've had 3 healings that I've done, so I'm not purporting myself to be anything. I just do what the angels tell me to do. But I'm just going to say there was a young lady that had an issue, and since then it was a very severe issue, and nothing has happened since. And it's really interesting for me when I do a light body scan. It's always different, and I always see like different parts of the body, and it's an amazing ride for me. It is all because I'm just trusting. Because that's the very first thing when you start becoming spiritual. You start thinking, oh, this is just me. This is just my mind playing tricks with me. This is just my own little voice in my own head. You have to start believing and just knowing and trusting. Like even in the Bible it says that we're supposed to come to God as a child. That's really, you just come with that childlike knowing and that childlike belief and that childlike sense of adventure. Yeah, it's the adventure and it's being fearless at the same time. And I guess that just makes me think of even another thing. I know the perfect combination when I'm supposed to do something is when it scares me and excites me at the same time. Then I know that's the way I'm supposed to go. Right there.
That's great that you've got that pinpointing down to that.
Yeah.
That's the art.
It's becoming in tune with your own body, because your body will tell you.
It will. And I think a lot of times we appreciate it because we are scared. And it doesn't excite us enough because we haven't leaned on it, trusted it enough to manifest in our lives.
Usually down to self-worth issues is what it's usually all about.
You're right, and that's I think a lot of people are in that boat.
And y'all are all beautiful. We love every one of you.
One of
Even you with that little thing in the, see that over in the left corner right there? What?
You know you're beautiful.
Okay, there you go. Okay, you got it. All right, much better. But you were beautiful before, and even more beautiful now.
Yeah, I think if we keep telling people that,
right?
Eventually they're
going to believe it? Because we believe it.
Yeah.
We see it in them, don't we?
And I remember when I used to do shows, I felt so ugly as a child, or different. So when I started doing shows, I didn't know what I was doing. So I felt prettier than I was. But I remember it was just like a light cut on the first time I said, do you realize how beautiful you are? As a matter of fact, this was his words. I went over to an after party to hang out with some friends. And he said, how does it feel to be the most beautiful person in a room? So when he said that, now mind you, there were beautiful people in that room.
Physically beautiful.
Physically beautiful. And it was almost like they snarled because they didn't get it.
Right.
And at that time, I was, for self-worth, unworthy feeling, the feeling that, what's he talking about?
Right.
But, it was amazing. I still remember that.
Right.
Wild, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think you're beautiful.
Well, I think you are too.
I think I am too, actually.
Actually, today, I'm not egotistical by no means, because I never want to toot my own horn. If I start tooting my own horn, I'll go. toot my horn.
Oh, honey, I toot my horn so much. In fact, there's a running joke between me and my partners in the radio station. I'm like, when is that 24/7 Pete radio station starting? And they always laugh and say, yes, with one dedicated listener.
As a matter of fact, I went to the radio station, the link the other day.
You did?
Yeah, and I couldn't believe the people that was already on there. Not that I didn't believe it, but it was wonderful.
Yeah, it's true, the number 2uradio.com, true2uradio.com.
True to you.
Radio.com.
And
if you want to hear more of Pete, just tune in because I'm all over the place on that.
I think he should make an audio, like an audio set. You should be the GPS talker guy.
Oh, I love it.
But in a spiritual way.
Girl, you turned the wrong way.
Oh, honey, you know that cute boys at the gas station know that. But I just think it's great, you know?
Thank you.
And I know a lot of people may still not understand where we're coming from, but I hope in time everybody will.
I just want everybody to feel my love for them because I honestly do love every single one of you.
And that's, you know, when you can say that and really mean it.
I really mean it.
It's
unconditionally, like every single one of you.
Yeah, you don't have to put any airs on.
Right.
It doesn't matter what you are.
That's right. That's right. I don't care. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you've done. I don't care where you've been. I don't care what you look like. I love you. So,
and and you're all beautiful. I just want to say that one more time.
Yeah.
You know, and I wanted this little card
okay.
that I opened your gym box.
Right.
And it's gratitude. And can I read this?
Of course you can. Those are angel words of the day. The angels have asked me to come up with a word of the day for each day.
Well, I like this one.
Okay.
And because it's the thought for the day, it's gratitude. Be thankful for all things that come into your life. Those things that you enjoy are there for your pleasure. Those things that you wish to change give you the motivation for new life. Have the motivation for new life.
That's right.
You've got to want it now.
That's
if
right.
you wish for it, it happens.
Right. And with a clear, positive
Right.
mind and the faith.
Right.
Yeah. And not blocking with the yeah buts.
Right. Completely, with no doubt.
Right.
No doubt whatsoever.
Right.
Yeah. I like that. I collect little thoughts, and I have a little journal I've been writing in. So that one always opens. The first one is count your blessings.
Well, I was told today to bring those gems, and when I opened it up, this was laying on the box, and I was told to bring that with me today, and I didn't know why. So now I know why I was told to bring that with me today.
Angel Enlightenment. This is your card?
That's my card. Now, that's just my website is angelencouragement.com.
Angelencouragement.com.
Yeah.
And you're on eBay. You have an eBay store.
eBay store. It's ice_blue_pearl.
You just sell everything?
Mainly clothing.
Clothing? Vintage clothing or new?
Both new
Really?
and vintage. Yeah.
Now, do you have plus size clothing?
Yeah, I do.
Do you?
Yeah. And you see,
Okay.
I brought Tierra some jewelry today for her
He
birthday.
did.
Yes, I did.
And I got a wand too.
I'm just a giving
I'm
person
gonna
today.
sprinkle this all over you.
Yeah. my teacup is just pouring all over.
I love that. I got a tea set. We're gonna drink some tea one day.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, you have anything else you want to talk to me
I
about?
think I'm about good.
Good. Well, we thank y'all for tuning in each and every time we take, because without you, well, we wouldn't be able to go any further, really, you know. But we thank you for being able to.
Although I think I'd still do it just so I can see me.
I bet you do it to watch you. But I do thank you. Our appreciation goes without saying, but we want to say that we love you and we thank you. Remember to always be kind to one another and love yourself. Thank you. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.